Whoa, check it out, check it out. Is that wild or what? That is some pretty stuff, let me tell you. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. That. Oh yeah. Nice, beautiful colors, beautiful patterns. Every single one of them. All right. I like where this is going. Well, hello Rockhounds, Lapidary lovers, Mike here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another rock cutting session. We're going to get both of my rock saws up and running and we're going to cut some rocks today. And I've got some big rocks back here for the big 16-inch saw Lazarus. And I have one more of those because Lazarus is pretty quick. So we'll probably go through these pretty quickly. And then I've got some smaller ones for my Raytech 10-inch trim saw, which is a lot slower but makes an amazing cut. So we've got some interesting rocks here, and I'll talk more in detail about each of them as we go through cutting them. I'll tell you what we've got up front here, a quick little description. We've got some really beautiful waxy looking Jasper I found rockhounding in Wyoming. Got some petrified wood I found rockhounding in Wyoming. I took some slices off of this already and it was amazing underneath, so I want to get some more slices out of it. It's really beautiful stuff. Got some Mookite here, some Australian Jasper. As you can see, I've taken some slices off of it, but I think I want to cut this side this time because the pattern and color on it's pretty amazing. I've got a fairly large and heavy Montana moss agate here. And I want to try cutting it and see what's inside. A beautiful piece of just absolutely gorgeous Arizona rainbow petrified wood right here. So I want to get some slices off of it. So all these are going to be done on the big 16-inch saw. Now down here on the 10-inch Raytech saw, well, I hope I can get these all in the 10-inch. They might, one or two of them might wind up in Lazarus if I can't clamp them the way I want to. Right here is a piece of fossilized coral my stepson found while he was fossil diving in one of the rivers. And he wants me to slice it lengthwise like this to see what's inside. And I'll tell you what, this thing is feather light, so it's almost certainly hollow. And somewhere on here, yeah, there it is. You can see that it's probably got a vug, a big vug inside full of druzy quartz crystals. That's what we're thinking anyway. So I want to try and slice this lengthwise to expose whatever's inside it. Probably a crystal-filled chamber, I would imagine. Got another piece of Graveyard Point Plume agate here. Want to cut it and see if I can find the pluminess in it. Here I have a piece of Agua Nueva agate. It's kind of a remnant, like an end cut or something. I got cheap at the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show in February of this year. I bought a bunch of stuff, you know, a lot, and there was a lot of stuff in it that was just like cheap remnants, bits and pieces, trying to make something beautiful out of them. Agua Nueva, it's beautiful stuff. So I'm going to put this in the Raytech and try slicing this side and see what we can get out of it, see if we can find something cabbable in this thing. And then I got another Montana moss agate here. This is a small one. It's broken. A little bit river tumbled, but fairly freshly broken. So I can see moss in there, so I want to try and take some slices off of it here and see what we can find inside. So that's what we've got for today's cutting session. I just need to decide what we're going to do first. Well, I think first, since my stepson asked me to do it, I'm going to see if I can get this in the Raytech. And if I can't mount it in the Raytech, we'll probably put it in Lazarus and cut it. So that'll be first for the Raytech, and if I can get it in the Raytech, then I think we'll just start from the left and work to the right, okay? And I want to see what this Jasper looks like if I slice it a little bit, because it's super waxy. The texture feels good. It doesn't look like it has a lot of fissures in it. So I think it's going to be beautiful Jasper. So we'll try these two first and see how it goes. Okay, I managed to get that piece of coral clamped into the Raytech saw without too much trouble. So let's get the lid on this thing and start cutting. That's a big piece of coral. It's going to take a while to cut all the way through. So let's get started. In the meantime, I'll get something in Lazarus and get it cut. Alrighty, I got that Jasper clamped up in Lazarus here. Yeah, Lazarus is dirty. Lazarus is dirty. That's his normal state. Would you believe I gave him a pretty good cleanup not too long ago? But I use him a lot, so there's a lot of rock dust in him again. But anyway, we're going to take a thin slice off this fairly straight edge here and then go in just to clean it up, and then go in and get a decent slice off of it and see what this Jasper looks like. Just see just how pretty it is. Hopefully it's really nice and pretty. So let me get Lazarus closed up, get him started, and that'll probably take a good 20 minutes, but you know what? I'll bet it'll be done before the Raytech is. Well, as I suspected, Lazarus was done first, even though I took 2 slices off of this. Here's the heel, and here's the first slice on the inside, and here's the rest of the rock. I wanted to take another slice off of it, but I just can't clamp him effectively in Lazarus. I was afraid that might happen. I may try to take some more cuts off of this on the Raytech saw later. Or I might do like I did in a previous video and just glue a block of wood onto this and cut it from the other side and get a bunch of slabs off it. I'll put a link to that other video where I did that in the upper right. You can check it out. But I like this Jasper. This first slice is not the most colorful stuff in the world. But I'll tell you what, it's got a nice, buttery, smooth texture to it. It's like very carvable, very cabbable stuff. And it looks like maybe deeper into the rock, we're getting into some nicer colors. There's a vein of dark red here, a vein of white. And interestingly, the outside of the rock's very orange, but inside it's more pink and white. So, I don't know, deeper in we might get into some of the orange stuff too. The coloration might get more interesting. So definitely, this rock is not going to go to waste. I'm going to try and get some more slices off of it by hook or by crook, either on the Raytech or by gluing a piece of wood onto this and clamping it and then cutting from the other side. So one way or another, but I think we'll save that process for another day. Let's find another victim for Lazarus. Petrified wood. Yeah, I've got oil on my fingers. This is going to look amazing when it's wet with saw oil. It looks pretty darn good now, but just you wait. It's going to be amazing when it's wet with saw oil. So I want to get this into Lazarus, and I want to take some more slices like this. I did some end grain slices, and they were nothing to sneeze at. But going along the grain, it is just absolutely gorgeous stuff. Some of the most pretty Wyoming petrified wood I've ever cut. So let me get this into Lazarus and get it cut, and I want to take a few slices off of it. Okay, so how do we do on our fossil coral? Well, I'll tell you what, this is a very quiet cut. The Raytech made hardly any noise while it cut through here, which made me think maybe it was hollow. But let's take a look. Yeah, not quite hollow. It's got, a whole bunch of sort of druzy quartz crystals in here, but they're very sand grain size and loose and unconsolidated. And then we've got this agate right in the middle, and then we've got more druzy quartz in the middle of the agate. Let me give you a close-up look at this with my phone. This is kind of cool, and I don't think with the Nikon here you can see deep into the center of the agate in that druzy quartz pocket there. So let me give you a close-up with the phone. Yeah, check that out. It's not what I was expecting on the inside, but it's certainly interesting. That. Nice little agate pocket. I guess technically it's a geode pocket. Nice banding around the edges. It's small, but it's pretty, and it's got, druzy quartz on the inside. Interesting color, too. I would imagine from the tannins in the rivers run brown around here. They look like tea, southern iced tea. And, Yeah, that tannin gets incorporated into the fossils and they all turn dark. Looks like it got incorporated into the agate in the center of this one. That's a pretty cool cut, though. I think my stepson's going to be interested in it. He really wanted to know what was in the middle of this thing, so there you go, Joe. That's when it's in the middle of your fossilized coral find right there. Well, would you look at these slices I got off of that petrified wood? Wow, these are really something. I love that wood grain in there, that really dark petrified wood grain there. That's really cool. I think they're out of order. I think this was the I think this is the last one I did, then that one, and then this was the first one I did right here. And yeah, you can see by the second one we're starting to get into a little quartz pocket, druzy quartz up in there, but that's okay. And then this is what I've got left of the rock. I can't really clamp it anymore in Lazarus. Some interesting stuff going on over there on the end grain. But I can't really clamp it effectively in Lazarus anymore, so that's all of the cuts I can get. I might polish this face of it at some point because I think that's going to be absolutely gorgeous polished. And definitely I think we've got some really good stuff here in these slabs. This is without a doubt the prettiest piece of petrified wood I've ever found in Wyoming. We found it when we were rock hounding in southeastern Wyoming, and I can't wait to get back out there to that area and see what else we can find. That piece of Jasper that we cut first in this video also came from that area of Wyoming. It's just a geological wonderland out there. It's amazing. And we can't wait to get out there and do some more rock hounding. So here's your close-up look at the slices. Wow, is that amazing or what? This stuff is super cool. Super cool. Yeah. That is some amazing petrified wood grain there. And here's what's left of the rock. It's almost got like it's got bark on that side still. Very neat. Very neat. Okay, so we need another victim for Lazarus. I'm just itching to cut this Mookite. And as you can see, I've sliced this edge right here, and I've sliced this edge looking for the beauty inside. That's not bad. And I'm tempted to take some more off of that right there, because that's pretty cool. That might even be cappable. But I know about that. What I don't know is what's going on in this side. And it looks like we've got some interesting stuff in there. So I think I just want to try cleaning up this face of the rock and having a look and see what's in there. Maybe taking a slice or two if it's amazing, which it very well might be. So let me do that. And if I decide I don't like this side of the rock, well, I can always cut some more of this off and see how amazing that is. So we've got options with the Mookite. So let me get this in Lazarus and get it cutting. Well, would you look at that? This Agua Nueva agate provided some really, really pretty slices. So, you know, this is the first cut. Taking this off is a quartz pocket there in the center, but that's crazy. It looks like some kind of wild flame pattern. Flip it over. Look at that. That's even more flame-like there. Purple flames. We got that. Flip it over. Got that. Then we get into this. That. There's definitely some cappable stuff here. That's for sure. Then we kind of run out. The wedge is getting too thin, and it's just not as interesting anymore. But wow, this is some good-looking stuff. I was hoping it would be, and it does not disappoint. These are all winners as far as I'm concerned. Not sure what I'm going to do with this. Maybe tumble it. I'm sure that'll turn out great, tumbled. But I don't think I can cut any more off of it. Whew! That took a while to make all these cuts with the Raytech, but it was worth it. Let me give you a close-up look at that. Whoa, check it out, check it out. Is that wild or what? That is some pretty stuff, let me tell you. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Oh yeah, nice, beautiful colors, beautiful patterns, every single one of them, till you get to there. And here's what's left. That is very cool too. I think that's going to look super nice tumbled. All right, I like where this is going. All right, let's find something else to put in the Raytech and get started cutting. I think we are pretty much ready for some more of this Graveyard Point Plume agate I got from my buddy Jim. I cut this on video before, and there's some good stuff generally inside here. I'm going to start with a shallow cut on this side, get this crust off, and I think there's some really nice plumey stuff right under there. I don't know if it carries over onto this side or not. We'll see. End up taking a lot of cuts probably, but we might get some really pretty stuff out of this. So let me get it in the saw and get it started. Alrighty, while I was making all those slices on the Raytech of the Agua Nueva agate, I had plenty of time to take a lot of slices off of the Mookite here. So I kept slicing, hoping to find something cabbable. Okay, and I turned it. I sliced that side I was most interested in. I got a lot of slices here. Here's the heel, the first slice, second slice. Getting into some interesting stuff. Nice, strange oval pattern there. Third slice. Yeah, so that's interesting. It's not quite as pretty as I was hoping for. Don't get me wrong. Love my Mookite. It's pretty. Turned the rock 90 degrees and started taking cuts. And it almost immediately got into some interesting stuff here. Some very interesting stuff. Like that. Yeah. That. It started out expanding out big and starting to look a little like this over here. So I kind of stopped at that point. I've still got this much of the rock left. But yeah, so I think I've got a couple of slabs here with some possibly cabbable stuff in them. Let me give a close-up look at my phone and tell you what the potential problems with them are, though. Alright, so here's a close-up of the Mookite slabs with the interesting patterns and colors in them. What I noticed, though, is, it's mostly this sort of mustard yellow color. Slight variations in it from here place to place. But where there's color, other than that, it seems to be around a fracture. So I guess that's where other minerals seeped in or were leached out or something around the fractures there. And that's where we've got the crazy colors. Wherever it's not that mustard yellow, it's because there's a fracture. So even though these are pretty, I'd probably have to stabilize them before I could try to cab them, because they'll probably break apart. If I try to make a cab out of this pretty area here, yeah, it would probably break apart. So I'd probably have to stabilize these slabs. That's okay. I know how to do that. My buddy Jim taught me how. So I can stabilize slabs. So anyway, that's the Mookite. So that was a lot of cutting while I was waiting on the Raytech. Let's find something else to cut. Let's try this big... This is supposedly a Montana moss agate. It was in the bin of Montana moss agates at the Rock Shed in South Dakota. That's where I bought it. I'll put a link to that video in the upper right. You can check it out. Well, at least I think it's a Montana moss agate. And I think I got it at the Rock Shed. May not have been on that last trip. It may have been on the trip before. Anyway, the video is in the upper right of my last trip to the Rock Shed. Check it out. It's an amazing rock shop. If you've never been there, if you're ever in South Dakota, go. It's worth the trip. All right, let me get this in Lazarus and get it cut. I'll probably cut it right between these two windows and see what the two halves look like. Okay, I'm going straight to close-up for this one. OMG. Look at that. Look at that. This is the most amazing Montana moss agate I think I've ever cut into. That is That is crazy. Look at that. Look how the moss makes sort of concentric circles around the center. Then we got some agate banding. Then we got some quartz. And then we've got another agate floater in the center of the quartz. And can you see how blue that agate floater is? I hope that's coming through on the video. I really do. That is amazing. And we got some more moss in the floater. Wow. Yeah, definitely the most amazing Montana moss agate I have ever cut into. The next time I'm shopping for Montana moss agates at the Rock Shed or any other store, I gotta find some that have windows like this in them, because clearly that leads to some good stuff on the inside. Wow, I'm flabbergasted. That is really just crazy. I love it. Okay, that's going to be a hard act to top right there. What else have we got to go into Lazarus in this cutting session? Well, we got this big old chunk of Arizona rainbow petrified wood. And where do I want to cut it? Well, I'm tempted to cut it up here where all these yellows and oranges and reds are. But to me, it looks like it's pretty fractured up in here, and it might just fall apart. Now this area over here, the colors are a little more subtle, but maybe, I don't know, it looks like it's more solid. I think I want to put it in Lazarus and take some slices like this and see what it looks like. I still got a few fractures, but I think we'll be cutting parallel to a lot of the worst ones rather than across them. So maybe the parts won't fall apart, and we'll see just what we get out of this, because it could be really, really pretty in there. I mean, there is some red, yellow, orange, black, gray in this side too. I mean, it's not quite as vibrant as over here, but we'll see. If I don't like it, I can always flip it around and try cutting on this side. So we'll see. Okay, so let me get it in Lazarus and get it started. Well, this is kind of interesting. It's a little different than the rest of this Graveyard Point Plume agate I've been cutting. You know, I cut the first cut and get through the crust, and then the first piece underneath, it kind of looked like it was going like normal. You know, you get the crust off, and what's underneath is you got still some crusty stuff, but you can start to see agate underneath it. But then we got this sort of gradient here between extreme pluminess and extreme clarity. Kind of different. Then the next slice, we got the same thing, but then we get right back into extreme pluminess. Then this piece right here, which is the rest of the rock, I can't really effectively clamp it anymore to make any more cuts. It's just like solid white plumes. It looks like, you know, you've opened up a feather pillow or something. It's just solid white pluminess in there. That's kind of odd, you know, for this plume agate I've been cutting. Normally the plumes are kind of randomly distributed through it, not just totally encompassing it. So, but this is kind of pretty. I could see maybe trying to make a cab out of that, or this one maybe. Yeah, not quite sure what to do with that, or these areas down here. You know, a lot of plumes in that Graveyard Point Plume, I'll give it that. Certainly living up to its name. Okay, well, I'll set that aside for now, and we'll get something else in the Raytech. I think we're down to just this Montana moss agate right here. And as you can see, we got some nice moss over here. Can't really tell what's going on in the rest of it. Looks like we got some maybe subtle waterline banding in there. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to cut it. So how do I want to cut it? I could try cutting across this face, or I could, if I can clamp it, I could try cutting across this face. I mean, I know there's moss in there. Probably be easier to clamp it and cut across this face. Maybe I will do that. I'm going to clamp it in like this, and I'm going to cut across this face, and we'll see what we get. Well, alrighty, check out this Arizona Rainbow Petrified Wood. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So I started cutting from this end over here, where the colors are a little more subtle, but the rock is a whole lot more together. Here's the heel from that end there. Then I flipped it around because I couldn't get any more cuts anyway. I was going to have to move the rock. And I started cutting from this side with the crazier colors. And as I feared, the pieces fell apart. Here's the first cut. Here's the second cut. It came apart right across a fracture there. The third cut here, the fracture is still there, but the pieces have held together. And I can still see the fracture going through the rock here. But wow, that is some amazing looking Arizona rainbow petrified wood. It's just crazy beautiful. I've still got this much of the rock left. I could maybe take some slices on the Raytech with it. I might do that in the future. But really, it's too small to continue clamping in Lazarus and get many cuts out of it. So, yeah, but wow, this is some beautiful stuff. Let me give you a close-up look at this. I think you're going to be impressed. Yeah, feast your eyes on this stuff, huh? That is some beautiful, beautiful petrified wood. Here's the remnant of the rock. Still got some beauty in it, which I need to get out, but yeah, check out these pieces individually. Very nice, very nice. Whoa, wow. Yeah. Oh, look at the swirls in that. Yeah, there's definitely some cabable stuff here. And I think these pieces here are probably, you know, they don't look like they have a lot more fractures in them. They could probably be cabbed. You know, this could be cabbed, this could be cabbed. These look pretty solid here. Anything? Oh, that's really nice over in there. Yeah. Some cabbable stuff here. Nice. I might take these broken heel pieces and tumble them and see how they turn out. Wow. That was some beautiful, beautiful rainbow petrified wood. This is absolutely my favorite stuff in the world, I think. I think I even like it better than Montana moss agates, which I hear cutting in the Raytech. So we'll be looking at slices of it here shortly. Okay, so here's this Montana moss agate, all sliced and diced. And there's some pretty stuff in here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see this one here. It'll focus. Oh yeah. Got a cap of quartz on that. So I think my best bet with these is probably to tumble them. Tumble the little slabs and tumble the remnant of the rock here. I think they are going to come out absolutely gorgeous. I've had a lot of good luck tumbling Montana moss agates and little pieces of them. So I think that's going to come out really pretty out of the tumbler. Can't wait to see it. Yeah, that's going to be really, really pretty, I think. All that moss in there. There's little droplets of moss across the top. A little cloudy area of quartz up there. Bigger moss at the bottom. Yeah, I think that's really going to be pretty. Well, I would say that was a pretty amazing cutting session at the saws. I think I've got some really amazing stuff here. This Montana moss agate back here is just stunning. I can't wait to face polish both halves of it. I think it's going to be amazing. This petrified wood over here, just crazy cool. This petrified wood down here is crazy cool. Every single piece I cut off of that Agua Nueva agate is crazy cool and cabbable. That's just... I'm stunned at how well this went. I got a couple of pieces of Mookite that I think might be cabbable. I might be able to cab some of this Graveyard Point Plume here. I'm going to tumble this Montana moss agate. I want to cut some more slices off of this before I pass judgment on whether it's good Jasper or not. Color-wise, anyway, texture-wise, it's amazing. It's some of the nicest, butteriest, smoothiest, waxiest Jasper I've ever found. So, and then I got this fossil coral I cut for my stepson. So yeah, an amazing session at the saws. Tell me what you guys think is your favorite out of all these. I'd be hard pressed to pick one. If I had to pick one, I'd say probably this Montana moss agate, but close second would be this Agua Nueve. But you tell me what you think. Anyway, I couldn't be much happier with how this session went. And if you guys are happy out there in YouTube land, give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. See you in my next video. Subscribe. We'll do this again soon. Bye.